my wife used to say this all the time. She would come to me with some video, right? And we actually hear a lot of people say this, right? They'd be like, they'd make a video about a specific topic. And then there's a lot of people that will come in and disagree with the video, right? But then you will always see somebody in the comments and say, well, don't you see all these people saying that this was their experience? Don't you see all these people? Well, that's because the video in itself created a niche audience or a niche type of scenario. So, and I agree with you. When you go into these red pill spaces, you see a lot of wild shit. But that's because if you think about the conversations that are created on those spaces, it opens up the dynamic to have those type of men come in. But like, you know what I mean? But if you get a balance of, you come to Lapeef Let's Talk, or you come to the Lapeef Network, or you go to like NTR or a lot of other different places, and then you actually go out into the real world, because I talk to men every day because I'm a barber. You know what I mean? And you start experiencing men in real, for real, you start to understand that maybe the only reason why I saw that type of behavior from those men is because that was just the space that those men are in. But when I go out there in the real world, I recognize that, hey, no, men ain't losers, because if most men were losers, this world wouldn't work. Our country wouldn't work. We would be we would fail miserably, because most men wouldn't be out there. Most men would be losers. But I don't see that in real life. I do see it on YouTube a lot. I agree with you. I see a lot of bullshit on YouTube, but I see it on both sides. I see a bunch of loser ass women. I see a bunch of loser ass men. But I have to recognize that this is not a real place. This is just a niche audience that was created by a niche topic, that was created by a niche person who wanted to just talk about what they wanted to talk about, and have an amen section of a bunch of people that want to agree with them.
Yeah, I get that part. So I could attest to that, because my DMs look very different than my circle in real life. It looks better. It looks different than what I might look on YouTube. It's crazy, because that's all I get. A lot of people who need help, people who don't know how to navigate through life, people who having trouble getting money, people who have trouble acquiring females. And I feel fortunate that I'm able to be exposed to other things. And a lot of times we go into certain spaces, whether it be red pill or otherwise, you're in an echo chamber, and you hear all these things over and over. And it's very easy to become indoctrinated just because of the content that you're consuming. So, and then you have the support. You have all these other people. If you watch some of these, some content, right, you'll see the trolls in there. They're all going, and they're all, and you feel like there's so many people that think like that, because you're all in that community, and you feel like everybody really feels like this, because that's all you see. You'll see hundreds or maybe thousands of comments per show, and they all have the same idea: kill the 304. And you're like, damn, what's going on? You know what I mean? That's how they feel. And if you only are exposed to that, and the algorithms don't help you, because once they see you, they will throw you all the way down the rabbit hole. That's what they support, because, oh, you like this? Let me throw this. Hey, watch this. Here, watch some more content like this. And then you could seriously obtain a completely different ideology than you had before, based on content that you watch, because that becomes your reality.
All right. What's going on, Trill? Welcome to the show, bro. So you're in the chat. What you got for him? All right. Kind of sound like he was agreeing with you, Purple Pill. Yeah, we can.
Mic check. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, bro.
You good?
All right. Yeah, man. I'm sitting back. I'm watching this shit, man. I'm quite frankly disgusted at a lot of these excuses that I'm hearing on this stage tonight, man. In terms of what it takes for men to have success with women, I think that we blame women a lot. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of women who just lost as hell out here. We're gonna keep it G, but I think a lot of it boils down to men get complacent in terms of what it is that they're good at. And especially in these spaces, I hear a lot of talk about money. For some reason, people are under the impression that money is going to like make up for all your other deficiencies. There's a lot of people that are out here who have money are awkward as hell. No conversation skills, no charisma. Be around these women and you like, I've literally been in a room with some of these people and watched them talk to women. And it's like listening to fucking fingernails on a chalkboard. So it's way more to it than money. It's charisma. It's being engaging. Like, are you fun to even talk to as a man? A lot of niggas ain't. They not. And they think that the money is going to mask that. Which is why I tell people all the time, like, if money mattered that much, Bill Gates would not be divorced. Jeff Bezos would not be divorced. Michael Jordan would not have got a divorce. Tiger Woods would still be married. If money was that fucking important, it's not. It's the other shit that y'all lack and refuse to work on. It's just like a nigga in basketball or something. You play great defense and you pass well. And in the offseason, you continue to practice defense and passing. Defense and passing is not your weakness. You're a terrible fucking shooter. Get in the gym and put up jump shots. But men don't do that. They continue to say, you know what? I'm struggling with women. So my solution, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try to make more money. Because I feel like the money is going to fix it. The money is not going to fix it. You have a lot of other deficiencies that your ass need to work on in terms of a relationship, lasting long term, emotional intelligence. A lot of men have zero connection with their woman from an emotional perspective. And are proud of it. They be like, well, I mean, I'm paying the bills. I mean, I'm putting a roof over your head. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, sure. But none of that shit is going to keep a woman long term. And if you've been in a long-term relationship, you understand that. But again, instead of working on these things, you kind of shun them. You kind of just, it ain't that important. I forget it. I just get to the money. Or I'll try to fly out to fucking Taiwan and finesse a woman who don't know no better until she actually experiences you and gets to know who you really are, get to know how awkward your ass is, get to know how terrible your conversation is, get to know how out of shape your ass is, and she start treating you just like the women here that you try to run away from. Which is ironic. We sitting up here seeing a lot of these quote-unquote passport bros out there getting smacked with reality out there. I was watching a clip the other day where an Asian chick was, damn, that made dude cry. You fat, you out of shape. Your conversation, you have no confidence. You this grown-ass man, 40, 50-year-old crying. Why? Because he thought the money is going to fix the shit. No, the money alone is not going to do it. And as long as men think that, you're going to continue to struggle with women. You need to work on your social skills. You have horrible conversation. You don't have confidence. You don't have charisma. You're not fun to talk to. You're not fun to be around. You just a dude that's out here focused on your career and you think everything else is supposed to fall into place. It's not. So for us to sit here and just point the, it's women, it's women, it's women, it's women. Don't get me wrong. Women play a role. But again, if men are the leaders that we claim to be, it's like I say all the time, if you're the man that you claim to be, your options are going to reflect that. I can get a divorce tomorrow. It's not going to take me long to find a new woman. It's not. Because I am the man that I say I am. A lot of niggas ain't. And instead of going to fix it, go to that gym and work on a jump shot, your ass go in there and continue to work on defense and wonder why you're not having success. That's the problem. So that's all I want to add.
I would say I don't think anybody made the argument that that money was the only way. I don't think anybody's made that argument. I would say, me personally, I was just using Purple Pill's argument against him because he made the argument because he kept using the argument of money. And I'm like, well, if money was the factor, then exactly the examples that you gave. I'm like, well, then why is there so many women on TikTok right now talking about divorcing their husbands who make money? So that was my only reason why I was arguing against money. But I responded to you back in the chat. I think most people are sufficient when it comes to communication. Sufficient enough to deal with the average person. I'm not saying that everybody's going to be like, there's going to be some dudes out there that's going to have the ability to talk the draws off a woman, and that's absolutely true. But I think most people either are, we can look at this two different ways, right? We can either look at most people as sufficient and just getting from one side of life to the next, or we can look at everybody as deficient. Because I always say by the laws of averages, if we're saying most men are trash and most men don't have the ability to do X, Y, Z, then we have to say that most women aren't that either. Or that they don't have the ability to follow. They don't have the ability to do this because, and then at that point, we would just basically say that most people are trash. And I just don't see that. I don't see most people as trash. I see most people as with the ability to be able to do what they need to do, but they don't know how to do with one another. I just think we missed the assignment, honestly. We don't have, because I don't think the men before us had all that charisma back in the 50s and 60s. They weren't charismatic. They weren't, you know what I mean? They were normal dudes, got up, went to work, came home. I think what we lost is the assignment. Finding somebody that you like enough to make it from one side of life to the next. That's why I think we get it wrong. I don't think most men are trash. I don't think most women are trash. I think we just lost.
Yeah, see, I don't, and this is another thing I want to clarify. I'm not saying most men are trash. I'm saying that I feel like most men, for one, are not leaders. For one, let's throw that out there. Even though we throw that word around a lot. Leadership. Most of these niggas is followers in every aspect of their life, whether it's with a woman, whether it's with a man. Other people dictate the way you move, and then you get in a relationship and you think that you could just mask it because you, again, have money or whatever the case may be. But again, I don't necessarily think it's lack of knowledge. I think men know what we need to do within these relationships to make them work, but I think a lot of men just refuse to do the things because, for one, we're not comfortable doing it, or for one, we don't trust the woman that we're in a relationship with in terms of being vulnerable, in terms of trying to connect with her from an emotional perspective, because that's the stuff that's going to make the relationship last long term. It's that connection. And a lot of dudes don't have that. You literally have a lot of dudes come with these panels and say, look, man, I'm the man. She going to do what I say. She my helpmate. She this, she that. You see what I'm saying? But again, like, not giving that woman her proper respect, because if that was just the case, what are you even doing in a relationship with that type of woman anyway? Like, you should be in a woman where you could take counsel from her. You should be in a woman where her opinion matters. You should be in a relationship with a woman who could check you and hold you accountable. If you bring up your woman checking a man in a lot of these places, these niggas look at you like you got something written across your forehead. Check me. Ain't no woman gonna check me. I'm the leader. I'm this. I'm that. But that's the same type of shit that make the relationship end, because what you do is you alienate the woman. And you make her feel like her contribution to this shit is not important. So again, I don't think it's lack of knowledge. I don't think it's we don't know how. I think a lot of niggas just don't want to do in terms of doing what it takes to make the relationship work. In terms of what worked in 1950, 40, 30, that shit is irrelevant. We in 2023. We are in a totally new time. Women out here with jobs, women out here working. Women don't, like, their livelihoods don't depend on a man. So the same thing that worked 60 years ago, we can't expect that to work today. We in different times. But again, if you are who you say you are, you should be able to be versatile. You should be able to adapt. And again, that's not saying be less of a man. That's just saying understanding the new rules of this game. It's just like in basketball. 30 years ago, hand checking was perfectly allowed. You used to slap the shit out of people on all type of shit you can get away with on defense that you can't get away with today. So what do? Oh shit, I ain't playing basketball no more. I'm done. No, you adapt to the rules in order to be the best in the game. But a lot of dudes don't want to put that work in to do it. Again, they try to say, forget that. I'm just going to make the money. And the money is going to mask everything. And then they go make the money and they find out quickly that don't fix stuff. So again, it's work to do on both sides, sure. But again, if we are leaders, that means that we dictate the way shit runs. You can't be a leader and then complain about your following not doing what it is that or doing some shit that's outside of the game plan. A lot of the reasons they feel empowered to do that is because a lot of us wasn't doing our damn job to begin with. A lot of dudes not in the household, a lot of women growing up with single mothers and shit like that, getting these women pregnant and doing all type of shit. Men did that, going to jail for drugs, 80s, Black Panthers and all that shit. Like, we had perfect situations going. But leadership lacked somewhere. It dropped somewhere. And that created the women that we have today. So again, if we are leaders, then we are in charge of changing that. Or we could just say we're not leaders, we're equal. And then I have no argument to nothing that these dudes say. If you admit that I'm not a leader, we on the same level, we have the same capabilities, then women deserve just as much blame as we do for the state of society. But men don't say that. And that's my issue.